So South Carolina wants to restart executions using firing squads and electric chairs. This is a Daily Mail story. South Carolina is pushing to reintroduce firing squads, prompting legal challenges from death row inmates. Grayson Lambert, representing Governor Henry McMaster's office, argues that courts have never mandated executions to be instantaneous or painless, despite 33 inmates awaiting execution in South Carolina and no executions conducted since 2011 due to drug supply issues. The debate over capital punishment intensifies. Alternative methods like nitrogen gas employed in Alabama face criticism for potential cruelty, with experts cautioning against its use. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall defends the use of nitrogen gas in executions, labeling it a proven method. Marshall's remarks come amidst controversy over its efficacy and ethics, highlighting ongoing debates surrounding the implementation of capital punishment methods. Tom, thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, apparently South Carolina is concerned that Nikki Haley's coming back. So so interesting announcement comes out at that time. So there's a couple things going on here. I think you've got overcrowded prisons and you've got career killers. Remember, these are not necessarily single incident killers. These are career murderers, multiple murders, multiples, or have been recidivation rate and then committed another murder. These are people on death row that are basically, serving double life terms. And people like South Carolina are saying, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time to start the executions again. Will this be a deterrent? And it makes a headline where he says, hey, nobody said, you want to talk about painless? Let's talk about the victims. Let's get the coroners in here and the medical examiners and say, how did the victims die? Was that painless? And so maybe it's time, and they talk about cruel and unusual punishment, but let's face it, you're going to be killed. It's not necessarily pleasant. And I finally resolved in my mind that I think too much time is spent trying to, pacify a bunch of people.
Rob,
you're implementing an execution.
Rob, can you look up what states do electric chair or executions, stuff like that? We'll pull that out while I'm going to Vinny. Go for it.
Excuse me, Tom, great point. The fact that you said Nikki Haley's from South Carolina, there must be something in the water there. Like, people are just angry, bitter, war hawk attitude. But I don't know if you guys mulled over this, but look, the governor, Henry McMaster's, the Grayson Lambert, who's representing the governor, basically the governor is arguing, hey, they never said these deaths had to be instantaneous or painless. They want them to suffer, which is kind of crazy. But guys, and this is one more thing that jumped out at me, Pat. There's no executions conducted since 2011. You know why? Drug supply issues. They can't get the drugs to kill these
Wait a minute,
people.
let's just go down to Eagle Pass and get fentanyl. We have more than enough fentanyl coming from China at Eagle Pass.
I know a guy that can get you guys just fentanyl. Just hit it with...
I need 8 ounces of fentanyl by Monday.
Exactly.
No problem.
He's G, but I do, the one positive thing I do see about this is, if you're in South Carolina and you're thinking about doing some crazy shit and killing and murdering people, just know, like, these guys are trying to kill you, but not in a humane way. They want to shoot your ass or they want to electrocute your ass. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen, because I have, and I hate it to this day. Have you ever seen somebody in an electric chair? Like one of these videos that... It's not good.
You ever see the ones when they don't work and he's just like...
Yeah, it was in the Green Mile. I saw it. It's not good, but maybe that could stoke a little bit of fear in these people before they go murder a family.
Florida's electric chair was known for...
malfunctioning.
and a governor of Florida, you can look this up, nicknamed the electric chair Old Sparky.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
He says, we'll just get him a seat in Old Sparky. And the hood, apparently, and I don't know if this
Arkansas.
Yep. Yeah, Old Sparky and Florida. Apparently, Florida was the one that introduced the hood because, they have...
The eyes and stuff pop out.
Yeah, there's bad things that happen with your head when you put a lot of heat and volts into it.
By the way, do you know
they said, we'll cover them with a hood.
Do you know how many states allow firing squads? Rob, Google this, please. Very weird. Legal executions firing squad. Google that. Oh, there you go. Look at this. As of 2023, Mississippi, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Utah used the firing squad for the death penalty. In 2023, Idaho and Tennessee were debating about using the firing squad. That is.
That's like they
I don't. Hang on, hang on. Let me see if I can. I'm wondering if this is going to come out of the BizDoc hard drive here. I've not been looking at anything here, but I think the last firing squad execution in the United States was Gary Gilmore in Utah. Rob, can you look that up?
And while he's looking that up,
Why do you know that, Tom?
Because Tom's the biz doc.
Yeah.
Adam. But you know what?
Ronnie,
Adam,
Utah, but it was Utah. Give Utah credit.
Yeah,
Different guy.
And there's actually,
Buddy of mine.
I know, I don't know if the United States does this, but I think for some of these firing squads guys, so they don't like have to have PTSD or like be conscious. Some of the like say there's 5 shooters. 3 of them have blanks and only 2 guys have actual bullets. So nobody at the end of the day can say for a fact that I'm the one that killed this person. So it actually helps the shooting officer so they don't have to, there's always that question of, did I do it or did Johnny
Well, the
do it?
previous conversation we had, the difference between, American values or Western values or what Putin or something would do. At least we're having this conversation in America of what is appropriate, cruel and unusual punishment, what is considered the right way to implement the death penalty, what is the right conversation to have around capital punishment. Where in Russia, you'll just end up throwing out of window.
Yeah.
You just end up being poison drink. You end up bullet back of head.
Iodine
like
poison,
something's
It's
gonna
even
happen
more
to your
creative.
head.
They sprayed polonium vapor on the back of a dissident. Do you look this up, Rob? They sprayed radioactive vapor in a bar on the back of the guy's head and on his neck, and he died in a hospital. It took weeks for the guy to die.
And there's no investigation. It just happens. What? Speaking of this, the biggest news in the world was 6 months ago or so when the Wagner Group guy basically had to try to do a revolt against Russia.
What happened?
What was his name again? Anyone? I don't forget. We remember his name at this point.
Radioactive, Rob.
Okay. This guy.
Yeah.
Yep, there he is.
Yeah. This
Livnenko.
no, this is a different guy. This was a dissident.
Well, he had
from-
mercury poisoning?
Yes. This guy just ends up dead.
Yeah.
His plane is shot down.
Oh, yeah.
The Wagner Group guy. So
Prigozhin.
Prigozhin. Exactly. So the difference between America and Russia is at least we can have this conversation. What's cruel? What's not cruel? Each state can decide for themselves. That's the beauty of America's.
Yeah.
Well, look, South Carolina might be a firing squad here, but in Russia, you might just be poisoned to death with zero accountability.
Yeah.
So at least in America, we still have this conversation of what is cruel and what is unusual and what is the appropriate amount of punishment.
Well, it's crazy that you're saying that because because Mississippi stopped doing one of these methods that was way too cruel and unusual. They would tie up the person that was on death row, and just to torture them and ruin them, and some of them winded up killing themselves. They would put on the show The View, and they would watch it, and they would want to kill themselves.
Torture.
Is this a true story?
I think I heard something like that where they were just like, I'd rather.
They just had to
get
talk
the
to
electric
Whoopi.
What a
chair.
way to go, though. That's tough.
Could you imagine being tied up and your eyes stuck open and you have to watch Whoopi and Joy? That is cruel and
You're totally
That's disgusting.
You're totally channeling Stanley Kubrick's The Clockwork Orange.
That's
from the
exactly
70s.
it, Tom. Like, that's
Did you ever
cruel
see
and
that?
unusual. Of course I did.
And they held the eyes open and made him watch
Can you imagine
terrible
that?
things?
Don't kill this guy,
That's the
bro.
worst torture in America.
That's
What do you
worst
think about
torture.
it? By the way, what do you think about it? What do you think about firing squad, death penalty executions? What do you think about that?
It's supposed to be a deterrent. BizDoc out.
What do you think about it?
I mean, I actually believe in the death penalty. It's like if you're like the mass shooters. Don't get me started on these people, these kids.
Well, we're gonna
like,
get there at some point.
The people
let's
that
get to
go
it
in and murder innocent people, and mass shooters, school shooters. These people should be held accountable to the highest level.
Well, that's
the highest level.
That's a great question because I want to ask you, Tom, and you. In the Bible, I know people always misinterpret the eye for an eye, but if this person is out there and they're killing and they kill a family, okay, and then we have them, Tom, are we supposed to let them live out their life, pay our tax dollars to keep them alive till they die peacefully, or do you think we take action and we actually end this person's life eye for an eye?
You take them outside. They talk about the trial. They talk about judging. They talk about witnesses. They talk about valuation. Then they talk about take them outside the camp and stone them.
Oh, so, well, because Adam, because I'm telling you, a lot of people have all these opinions until it happens to you. Until your family gets killed and you see this person in court, you're like, I don't just have them killed. Once in a blue moon, you see the parent want to hug the killer, which is...
Well, you saw what happened with Jennifer Crumbley. You saw that, right?
Yeah,
you following that story?
I followed it.
So jury finds Jennifer Crumbley, the Michigan school shooter's mother, guilty of manslaughter. Okay, of manslaughter. This is the killing of 4 students in 2021, making her the first parent in the U.S. to be held responsible for a child carrying out a mass shooting a school attack. Vinny, I know you got into this one. So go ahead.
By the way, this is one of those stories, Pat, like at the beginning where we're like, finally, because me and Adam, we talked about this on many podcasts before. Adam, what do we do with people that are shooters?
People said that I was crazy because I said you should hold the parents or the family accountable.
No, they got mad at me and you.
Parents are accountable if your 14-year-old kid breaks a window next door. You have to pay for it.
Yeah, so prosecutors say that, Jennifer Crumbley had a duty under state law to prevent her son, who was 15 at the time, mind you, from harming others.
Minor.
She was accused of failing to secure a gun and ammunition at the home and failing, are you ready for this? I love this, guys, to help to support Ethan Crumbley's mental health. Meaning, Adam, the signs were there. The kid was crazy, and you let him go out there and kill everybody. So I think this is great news because it'll give people in that state a wake-up call. Look after your kids. Don't just give them an iPad and just go in the other room. Pay attention, get involved. And I mean, paramount, first and foremost, lock up your gun. If you have a kid in the house and they take that gun and they go shoot somebody, you belong in jail, 100%. And here's the thing, Adam, the maximum for manslaughter is 15 years. So prosecutors have not said if they're going to ask for consecutive sentences of all 4 convictions, which could mean 60 years in jail for her. This is, again, like we're talking about like death penalty for these killers. How about parents? You better, guess what? If your kid's wearing a trench coat and writing manifestos and going, one day people are going to find out, you better check his ass.
Wait, Vinny, we need gun control in the country. We don't need this. It's all that. But wait a minute. What was she failing to control with her child?
Hold on one second, Tom.
What was she failing?
His mental health.
Oh, it is a mental health issue.
Yeah, weird.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was the gun climbed out of the drawer, and that's why we need gun control.
Oh, no.
And we need all kinds of things like this. So now it is mental health.
Yeah.
We do need to look at America's youth. We do need to support them, identify what's going on, and find ways to help moderate their condition. And gosh, I was so confused all this time.
And great, you just made me think of that too. That same monitoring with the mental health. Guess what? Same, like monitor. Look at them just with the whole trans movement with all these young kids. It's like, hey, talk to your kid. Let them know that what they're going through might be a phase. They might grow out of it. You're confused. Talk to them and then you have like that father in New York.
You know what he wrote? He wrote in a journal. I'm sorry, finish your thought.
Go. But you know what I mean, Pat? For instance, get involved with your kids. I know that father is trying to stick up, and God bless him for his 5-year-old trans kid, and then this mother. It's a different situation, but talk to your kids. That's why, because they're disconnected. They're on TikTok and they're all on these apps, and they're like, gay, trans is cool. I could be a boy, I could be a girl. You have to get involved because things like that happen.
Jennifer Crumbley tells the juror that it was her husband's job to keep track of the gun. She also said she saw no signs of mental distress in her son. We would talk. We did a lot of things together. I trusted him, and I felt I had an open door. He would come to me about anything. He's saying this. In a journal found by police, Ethan Crumbley wrote that his parents wouldn't listen to his plea for help. I have zero help. This is the kid saying that. I have zero help for my mental problems, and it's causing me to shoot up the school. He wrote in his journal, prosecutors introduced evidence that even Ethan Crumbley texted his mother in spring of 2021 about demons, throwing bowls and other hallucinations, but she told the juror that it was just Ethan messing around. I have asked myself if I would have done anything differently. I wouldn't have. I wish he would have killed us instead. Is what the mother said. This is
denial.
Wow, but what a great find, though. But like
denial is a powerful drug.
Yeah, if your kid is saying demons, I'm seeing demons, and I want to shoot up things, you have to get involved, and you can't say, "Oh, we thought he was joking." Nobody kids around. Like, what's that saying? If you see something, say something. Even if it's your kid, you gotta nip that in the bud. Get him help and get him admitted if he has to. It's ridiculous.
Just from a bigger standpoint. A lot of words have been thrown around, especially over the last few years, about the weaponization of the Justice Department and how corrupted it is. We're lucky that we still live in America and we still have the jewel of the world when it comes to human rights and trial by jury and a trial by your peers. And basically everything that encompasses the Sixth Amendment. Now, you can criticize it all you want, but where else in the world where you can basically actually not be in other parts of the world poisoned, thrown off roofs? We saw what happened in Andrew Tate in Romania, just held without cause. What's going on there? In Hamas land, you can just be stoned or thrown off a roof for allegedly cheating on your wife or husband, on your husband, or you're gay, whatever it is. At least in America, we have a Justice Department that is the jewel of the world, and you can criticize it all you want. But believe me, if you're accused of something and you're arrested, you'd much rather be in America than anywhere else in the world
100%.
dealing with our Justice Department.
100%.
Let's not forget
as
that.
messed up as it gets with the FBI and everything, I still would rather get.
So Tom, are you also for the mother going to jail for the amount of years that she's going to for this?
I think under appeal, the number of years is going to come down. I think up to 60 years, that's a headline. And then, good behavior and stuff.
But you're good with this. Is the first time in U.S. history.
Ever.
Because I got to tell you, okay. So question. What's
good.
Scarier? What's scarier? Fire squad execution or parents going to jail for a stupid thing, a crime like this, a crazy crime that Ethan committed? What's scarier? What is going to scare the world more? Okay, populace more. This or firing squad?
This.
I think so as well.
Because, listen,
You understand
parents,
what I'm
are,
asking?
I got you. No,
parents
I'm
are
with you.
accountable, folks. People don't know it. But wait till your kid, you're involved with 5 other kids, and went out and tagged the house, broke windows and everything, and he's 13 years old, and then the police say, by the way, you don't have to worry about the police. You have to worry about the homeowner's insurance and something called subrogation. And subrogation means we go after the guilty party. Your insurance company, let's say somebody hits you in a parking lot. You're walking out from Target, you see somebody bash into your car, and then your insurance company is going to take care of your car. But your insurance company has got people that are going to move heaven and hell to go after that person that ran into your car. It's called subrogation. It also happens. You go to the doctor and you have an injury. They will call you and interview you about where the injury occurred, and the insurance company will go after. So those insurance companies are going to go after the kids that broke up a house and things like this, and then it's going to go after the parents. They're responsible. You have to pay for it. And so this is just the logical end of that.
This makes me think about, like, if you're Trojan condoms as a company, right? This has got to increase people buying condoms, right?
For sure.
Number 2, if you think about it, this is also the perfect example of the wrong people having way too many kids and the right people having way too few kids. We're having irresponsible people that should not be parents who don't have the right values to teach their kids, having too many kids. And we're having people that are responsible, that can teach the right values, afraid of having kids. That is a big problem that we're facing today. And why is that? Because our incentive program incentivizes the wrong people to have way too many kids. It's just our incentive. And it goes all the way back to LBJ. I talked about this with Pierce on the show yesterday, Pierce Morgan, when he asked me about, kids, parenting, father, all this stuff. By the way, to the wrong parents who have kids, I know a lot of people who have kids like this. This should scare the crap out of those parents. Rob, this is in what state? This is Michigan?
She was in Michigan.
So is this going to be...
This is a blue state.
But Tom, is this something... a law in one state doesn't necessarily apply to another state, right? That other state has to have a first case for people to say, this is what happened similar to such and such case, right?
Right, but a district attorney, say in Indiana, actually it doesn't even have to be Indiana, it can be frickin' Florida, the state attorney general can say...
use that as what happened in Michigan?
Well, they can't use it as a legal precedent direct, but they can use it and say, look, folks, they just did it in Michigan. We think it's a good precedent, and I'm going for it here. And so the state attorney general can go with... The state attorney general of Florida, in this case, to answer your question, could say, you know what? I think what happened in Michigan was good. Bring me the first case in Florida. I want what's called a landmark case in Florida. Bring it to me. Put it on my desk. We're going to charge them.
If they make that a nationwide thing, Pat, I guarantee you the mass shootings are going to drop. 100. That's how you say don't say 100%. 100% it would drop, because that means the parents of those kids now are going to be like, wait a minute. He's wearing a trench coat. Wait, what are you talking about? They're going to get involved.
So then here's my other question.
Safe gun storage.
So here's my other question for you, Tom. So you know how in New York when they came out with that 4-month window or whatever it was that you can go back and Me Too, and then Eric Adams got hit up, and then Jamie Foxx got hit up, and all these guys, and P. Diddy got hit up like 28 times, and all these guys are like going back. Can people now use this to go back to previous mass shootings to go get their parents to go to jail?
Wow, good question.
Well, New York has set a look-back precedent, haven't they? And so if we're going to allow look-back responsibility in New York in that case, then hell yes, some court may test the look-back provision. Remember, you can't be tried twice. Our Constitution guarantees that. You can be tried once. And then if the statute of limitations is moved and they decide to go back and try people under a look-back provision, look out.
I guarantee you right now, okay, parents who have lost a child to mass shooting just made a phone call. A minute after this was finalized that she's going to jail, they all called each other. There's a WhatsApp group me going on with all those surviving, the parents of who lost child to a mass shooting. They're texting each other in a group me saying, let's do a class action and let's go put all of these guys behind jail because they're responsible for it. How many of those phone calls are being made right now? Think about that.
Great point.
So this
Columbine shooters were young men.
People are about to get some very interesting knocks. Hey, you knew. Hey, you knew you didn't do anything about it.
Yep.
This could set the precedent for a lot of do not be surprised if in the next 30, 60, 90 days, throughout the rest of the year, more stories like this come out of previous events
That'd
that
be
took place.
sick. Good.
Yeah. So last time on Tuesday, we announced anybody that buys the Future Looks Bright hats and the gear, and we said we want 1 million people wearing this gear during these strange times. We want people walking around saying, hey, I believe future looks bright, and getting the reaction from other people when you wear that shirt. At the end of today's podcast, we'll be taking a raffle. We have everyone's orders. We'll take a raffle. 2 people will win a ticket, $750 to come to the Vol Conference. We'll be announcing that at the end of the podcast. And on top of that, today, we have some stuff that we haven't given away. We're continuing this. We sold out of a couple of our hats, by the way, on Tuesday. Instantly, 3 hats sold out. But anybody that buys any of these gears, Rob, can we show this on the camera so people can see it? Pick any one of these hats and one of the Future Looks Bright shirts. Okay, go a little lower. You got the purple one. You got the white one. Pick any of these trucker hats for some of you guys that want the Valuetainment logo with U.S. flag next to it. We also got the PBD podcast hat there as well. You pick the black or white Future Looks Bright hat. Choose any of these combination hat and a shirt. You do. Next week, what we're doing is we'll be giving away one of the Ryan Garcia signed gloves, a Trevor Bauer signed ball, and 5 signed Choose Your Enemies Wisely live next Tuesday at the end of the podcast.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.